I remember pulling up to the house and not being able to breathe because it was all sinking in. The searchers everywhere, the dogs barking, the helicopters overhead. They were yelling Kyron's name. And I just remember thinking, this is hell on earth.
It was June 4th, 2010. 7-year-old Kyron Horman, the day he disappeared from Skyline Elementary School.
So he had been there, people had seen him there, and then when class started, he was unaccounted for.
The second grader never got on his school bus and has been missing ever since. Even now, 15 years later, nothing, despite a massive and ongoing investigation. Kyron's mother, Desiree Young, does what she can to remain hopeful.
I am not going to give up. He's still 7 in my head. He's frozen in time.
Tell me your name and what your connection is to this story.
I am Desiree Young, and I am Kyron Horman's mom. Kyron has always been a shy kid. If he knows you, he's social with you. He's super lighthearted and funny. He likes camping and fishing. He also really likes true crime, kind of, you know? He likes the CSI kind of stuff, and he wanted to be a detective when he grew up.
He was wearing a CSI shirt that day.
He was, yeah, he was.
You know, like a lot of the other 7-year-olds curious about life. My name is Kyron Horman, and I'm Kyron's dad. Eager, just, I guess, interest in everything. Really fun kid.
We saw his science project. That was a big deal for him. He looks like a proud, beaming 7-year-old who's got this pretty impressive project.
Yeah, we did a lot of it together. It was kind of fun being able to sit with him and do some of the projects and just kind of help give him ideas and then watch him go to it and put his very artistic talents to work. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. The last day that I saw him, like, I will dream about that periodically. In the morning of the day he went missing, they were doing their IB projects up at the school, and I had to go into the office that day. So we talked outside. He was kind of getting in a little bit of trouble at school for goofing off a little too much. And I was like, hey, have a great day, but let's rein it in a little bit. But looking forward to hearing about the projects and stuff when I get home, and we'll celebrate. Told them that I loved them, and I just remember that conversation because it was just him and I out front. I don't know, one of those memories where the sun's out, you're having a very intimate conversation and big hug, and memories like that have stuck with me throughout for sure.
Seven-year-old Kyron Horman was last seen after his stepmother, Terri Horman, drove him to school for one of the biggest days of the year, the school science fair.
The second grader at Skyline Elementary had worked hard on his project for the science fair.
This is a picture she took of the second grader with his project, the red-eyed tree frog.
There are many accounts of the two of them going to different classrooms to look at the projects. So he had been there, people had seen him there, and then when class started, he was unaccounted for.
– So when I answered the phone, that was the start of it all. This is Susan Hall, the school secretary. Is this Desiree Young? And I said, yes. She said, I have to notify you he's missing. I just thought, what? It doesn't sink in. I thought, how in the heck could he be missing? I know that he was at the science fair. That's not possible. He was with Terri. She said, yeah, Terry's here. Well, I hung up with her and immediately went outside and called Terri. She proceeded to run down like she had rehearsed it. There was no emotion. She's not crying like Kyron's missing. It was just really bizarre. Before my brain could even catch up with that, I was, wait a minute, you dropped him off?
You were here in Medford?
I was, yeah. I was at work. I remember seeing suddenly the sky was lit up and all the boom lights and searchers everywhere, cars parked every possible area. And I said, this is good and not good.
This morning, Kyron Horman, a 7-year-old that attends Skyline Elementary School, came to school with his stepmom. They were here for the science fair, and they walked around to numerous classrooms. And his stepmom left him about 8:45. She saw him walking towards his classroom, and she left the building. Kyron was due home off the school bus at 3:45. He did not get off the bus. And upon asking questions, it was determined that no one saw Kyron up at the school after 8:45 when his stepmother dropped him off. This is devastating for the family, as you might guess, and for anybody that knows him. We just want to make sure he gets home safe.
Our primary objective is bring Kyron home. I'm not focused on losing hope. I'm focused on are we doing everything we can with our resources available to us and canvassing and searching in order to find our 7-year-old.
We miss you, we love you, and we need you home right now.
Search crews made their strongest push yet, with hundreds of volunteers from around the state joining the search for Kyron Horman.
I don't even know how many hundreds of people involved with searches for him.
The pressure to turn up something intense, as so far each day has ended with little to report.
It's always frustrating, when we're not finding anything, especially when we have such high hopes.
He's just a very timid, sweet boy.
My thoughts right now for Kyron is I'm very worried, and I hope he's okay.
Kyron is just a spark that people hold on to. He could be anyone's little son.
We work together to protect each other's children, and so the idea that somebody slipped through that safety net frightens all of us.
Kyron, we're gonna bring you home, buddy. Nothing is more important to your family, to your friends, and to us.
When I walked into the house, she came up to me and it was like she was hosting a party. There were no tears. She was not upset. She was thriving on the attention. She was, oh, we have a couple of casseroles in the kitchen, and she's talking to me about this, and I am a bawling mess. Kane, who doesn't cry, is a bawling mess. And Terri is like, she's just socializing at an event. It is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
Typically with these cases, families are suspects until ruled out. You're thrust into pretty much nonstop interviews, I think, until you're basically cleared. She comes home from a polygraph and we've got a room full of people there and storms in the house and is upset because she failed her polygraph, and she's just publicly announcing it to the room of everybody. Let's go get another one done, and let's make sure that you at least get through that one. And then it was the fight to get it scheduled, and it's like, well, why are we resisting another one? If we're doing anything we can to get him recovered as fast as possible, doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is, this kid's life is at line, and we need to do it all.
The fact that she's taken her two polygraphs, she has not passed those 2 polygraphs.
Then there was a second polygraph that was failed. Then you start looking at that strangely. Then you start to have suspicions. And then there starts to, we're having conversations between the other 3 of us about what's going on? Why is this part not proceeding?
There's so much that I can't talk about.
I think early on there was maybe a little bit of suspicion surrounding Terri Horman, but as we came to learn more, especially through court papers, there were some real questions about her character and actions shortly after Kyron disappeared. So these have been with me through the years. These are all my Kyron Horman files. I'm Kyle Aboshi, investigative reporter with KGW in Portland, Oregon. From time to time, kids go missing, and you expect them to show up. Maybe they're at their friend's house, or they went off and played somewhere else, whatever it may be. And certainly, several hours later, we typically find out what happened to them. But as this case played out, it became pretty evident early on that this was not just some kid who wandered off. Police were involved, the FBI was involved, the military was involved in the search effort, literally 24 to 48 hours after Kyron disappeared.
Dozens of investigators are on scene, and there are more on the way as part of a massive search effort for 7-year-old Kyron Horman.
It was interesting because in the early stages, police had a pretty wide scope in looking at this case, but eventually they narrowed in on Terri Horman and started asking very specific questions about Terri. So it was clear at that point that taking a really hard look at her compared to everybody else. Terri took Kyron to school that day. It was a big day. It was a school science fair. And so kids came in with their project, and like a lot of parents, she was proud to help him set up his project in the classroom. Apparently she was there very early. They put up the display and took a picture in front of it. That photograph is pretty iconic because that was the last known image of Kyron Horman.
It's the photo burned into so many hearts and minds. 7-year-old Kyron Horman, the day he disappeared from Skyline Elementary School.
And you see him standing there proudly in front of his project with a CSI t-shirt on in front of him. Then apparently they went and toured the school to go look at other kids' projects. At some point she left the school, and we don't know if she left with Kyron or without Kyron. But that's the last time that anyone saw Kyron Horman was in that school.
Kyron Horman investigation takes another turn. Now a reliable source tells News Channel 8 officers were prepared to arrest stepmom Terri Horman for hiring a hitman to kill her husband.
That was a twist we never expected. First you had this missing kid, then you find out that there was a murder for hire plot, that Kane had filed for divorce and he'd taken his daughter out of the home.
Kane Horman filed for divorce, sought a restraining order against Terri Horman, and accused her of trying to hire a hitman to murder him.
And it was based on a lot of information that was provided, so it wasn't a sudden, say, reactionary type of decision that was made.
I believe it. I believe it. I have full briefing with digital information and interviews with people and presented with all that. I absolutely believe that. There was a lot of hard dialogue, and it definitely got very stressful, very divisive. And then I got pulled aside for that briefing, and I was like, my daughter and I left after that, and just for safety.
For a lot of people, Terry's the real puzzle here. We know that Kyron disappeared. We know where he disappeared from, but we don't know what Terri was up to. We haven't been able to talk to her. We haven't been able to sit down with her for an interview to get the answers that we want. They're really the community wants. Privately, former prosecutors have told me this would be a very tough case without finding Kyron Horman. That's probably the biggest challenge.
And you go for it, and she's acquitted. 5 years later, they find a lot more evidence. They can't bring her back.
Right.
And they want to find Kyron before moving forward.
They need that evidence.
Yeah.
They only get one swing at that.
You only get one swing.
Terri Horman now lives out of state. Stephen Howes and his son Jake represent her. Stephen Howes told us neither the attorneys nor Terri had any comment about what happened here at the school.
Well, Terri, I'm glad you're here.
There's a lot of political corruption going on in Portland with the law enforcement. In order for them to keep things under wraps, not tell the truth, there's exonerating evidence about me. And rather than tell the public what's going on, they'd rather keep their jobs and not look for a little boy. That's their focus. It's not on him. People to know I did not harm my son. I'm not this monster that people are suggesting I am. Why was I not ever charged? Because I'm not guilty.
But what's missing from this case? It's a question new investigative efforts may help answer. Over the past year, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and Gresham Police have been digitizing Kyron's case file. That's thousands of pages, photos, and evidence scanned and reorganized into modern form. When it's finished, the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit will re-examine the case. They'll perform psychological and behavioral analysis of the file, comparing it to similar cases nationwide. Based on any patterns they find, they'll offer new investigative recommendations. Multnomah County DA Nathan Vasquez says his office has begun reviewing the case with fresh eyes, saying, quote, "We look forward to receiving further analysis from the Sheriff's Office and the FBI. Our focus remains where it has always belonged, on Kyron and his family."
Do you feel like law enforcement is still committed to solving this case?
I feel like they have the whole time. A lot of people have sacrificed a lot to even get the case to where it is today. And I know it's unsolved, and I know a lot of people are disappointed by that, but I've got nothing but gratitude for the amount of commitment that all these different agencies have put in. We're, I think, in a period of time where we're seeing more actionable information kind of coming to light. So we're feeling a lot of activity from the agencies again. The commitment has never gone away. It's always been there.
It's important for us parents and just keep fighting for our kids, keep being the voice, keep getting the story out there, and to never give up.
Call it in. It may seem like it's got no relevance, and you put that in and they line up a tip and they look back through their database of tips and like, oh, when I take that and couple it with this and this, we might have a direction. We might have more actionable information, and every piece of actionable information is getting us closer. So there's always that $50,000 reward that's still posted for information that leads to his recovery, and we absolutely need everybody's help to still get information in. If you've called it in before, or you're unsure if you did, call it in again.
Oftentimes in stories, they come and go. In this case, though, I've been able to develop a relationship with the parents simply because I've been interviewing them and asking them the same questions year after year after year. And I've seen, as time passes, how the world continues to evolve and move on, but for them, they're stuck in this moment. To this day, I still have files on my desk involving the Kyron Horman case, and I'll never throw those away until the case is solved.
This KHW investigation comes at an important time on Monday.
He's 23 now, so he's not that cute little 7-year-old with glasses. We still feel that he's out there. We have no credible information at this point that says that he isn't. So we still look as if he's out there.
It's too hard to think of him older. I see the age progressions, and it just is weird to me to think of him as an adult. I still wait for that phone call to tell me he's coming home. I still hope that he comes through the door. I want to hug him again. I don't know if that's in our future. I hope it is. I will always hold on to that. No matter what they tell me, the cops, I hold on to that. until I know I'm never going to give up on that.